We will go ahead and continue with our media availabilities for today. We are now joined by Chase Elliott, driver of the number 9 Napa Night Vision Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Thanks for joining us, Chase. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation. We'll start in the back with Zach.
Zach Albert, NASCAR.com. Chase, when we were here in the spring, you had led a Chevy contingent that really teamed up and worked with the manufacturer Allegiance to make things happen for you guys. Same game plan in effect this weekend, and is there anything different with the playoffs kind of being on the line this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be really similar, from all fronts, and I'm sure all manufacturers will be kind of doing the same thing. The playoff picture is obviously important to some of the guys in each respective group, I suppose. But the manufacturers are going to see it as that they want the manufacturer to do well, and they see that being better than anything else. So I think you're going to see more of those games being played this week. I thought we did a good job at Daytona. I thought we did equally as good of a job at Daytona as we did here in the spring. We just had some things go our way here in the spring, and they didn't at Daytona. So it goes to show you that even though we worked well together and that we all did a nice job, it's not always going to work. So, no guarantees for sure.
We're going to come down here to Bob in the front and then over to the right to Matt.
Bob Hockris, Fox Sports. You've been in the playoffs several times. You know the pressure of the cut line. Does it get any easier to handle, any worse to handle, or what's bad about it as far as the pressure, or is it just do you just go race and try not to think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think as you get put in bad positions throughout the playoffs, really and truly, your situation just becomes clear as to what you have to do, and especially when you get in a hole early, it just becomes very evident that you have to go do a really good job the next 2 weeks to make it through. So, definitely, obviously we don't want our season to be over after Kansas, so we have a lot of emphasis on these next 2 weeks, and I'm gonna do the best job I can do. My guys are gonna do the best job they can do, and we'll see where it ends up. But no, I don't necessarily think it gets any easier. I just think, the way these rounds go, sometimes you're frustrated, dang, I wish I'm sure the first thing everybody wants to say is, dang, I hate the way these rounds are when you have a bad race. But at the same time, the next thought needs to be that, well, we should have won more races in the regular season and it wouldn't matter, So you have the opportunity to make it not matter, and I think that's the thing you have to keep in mind, that this deal started in February, and you had an opportunity to give yourself a buffer, and we luckily we had a little bit of one. So yeah, we'll see. But like I said, I think you just have to go do your thing, and it'll either work out for you or it won't. One of the two.
We'll go to Matt and then to Holly.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. I know before you've said that in a perfect world to you, NASCAR gives you the rules package, the car, whatever, you just drive it. That being said, how much did you monitor Austin and RCR's test at Richmond? What did you think about the car? And are there certain things, with all that being said, that you want that car to be in 2 years?
To be completely honest with you, I didn't pay much attention to it. I saw a picture of the car. I saw the wheels were, really funky looking. It looked like they were, had improved about 40 years on the wheels in time. But really, outside of that, I don't know. I don't know what the cars drive like. The way from Austin's reaction didn't really, seem like from his post, on the internet, it didn't really look like he was like mind blown that it just drove that much different. So. Yeah, like I've said before, whatever it is, it'll be the same for everybody. The starting point is, and whatever manufacturer does the best job of creating a body from those set of rules, and then the teams do from taking advantage of however we end up structuring the builds. There's always going to be somebody trying to get an advantage. I know that. There's going to be standardized parts, but that just means there's going to be an advantage somewhere else, So whoever does their homework the best and trying to cut those corners and push the rules as far as you can is going to be the person who wins, and the people who are scared of that probably won't.
We'll go to Holly and then to Dustin.
Hi, Chase. Holly Kay, the NASCAR Wire Service. I'm curious, is it even possible for Talladega to get more intense racing just because it's the playoffs? I mean, do you feel when you come back here in October that it's a little bit, everything's amped up a little bit more or not?
Yeah, I definitely think it is. I guess the good news is at least you have another race after this one to, determine the rest of your time if you have a bad day here on Sunday. So I think it would be even more so if it was the final race. So at least it's in the middle, and if you crash on Sunday, we pretty much know we have to go win Kansas. I think beyond that, and if we don't crash, then we'll assess our points beyond there. So try to keep from crashing.
We'll go to Dustin and then over here to the left to Tyler.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. How with this package, obviously you hear so much about the big runs and how much it comes faster. How does that change blocking, and what kind of an adjustment is it to the runs when you come back to places like here?
Yeah, definitely a fine line. I mean, I guess it just depends on how bad you want the spot and how scared you are of that person, turning you around if they do get to you, And I mean, some of those runs are coming so fast. I certainly wouldn't pull up in front of some of them, but some of them I definitely think when you're in positions, there's going to be times where you might have to pull up in front of something that you wouldn't want to or you don't feel comfortable doing. But, like I said, I think it just depends on the situation we're in. And, if you make it to the end of the race, that's certainly the time to do that, or whatever point in the race that you think it's kind of determining the players. It seems like that point in these events seems like it's getting pushed back further. It seems like I've seen some guys kind of get up in front about halfway, maybe a little further than halfway, and they kind of control the rest of the race. And you get all those late race cautions, and it's hard to get back around that guy. So whatever point that intensity amps up and whatnot, sure, you might see some more aggressive moves than what you'd like to be making. But yeah, I think like I said before, it just depends on your situation, where you're at, if you can afford to crash. If not, and where you're sitting and who's still in the race and who's not.
I'm going to go to Tyler and then back to Holly.
Tyler Burnett, MRN. You mentioned Kansas next week. You're pretty dang good there. Would you feel confident going in there having to win?
Yeah, I would feel, as confident going there, I guess, as anywhere. If that's the case for us next week, we'll cross that bridge as we get to it. But we do have an opportunity here. I don't want to just completely toss the opportunity here. I mean, I know it's a toss-up and anything can happen, but it is an opportunity, and they still award points at this race, and they still give out a sticker on Sunday. So we'd much rather have that than have to be in a bad position next week. So we'll focus on that, when we get there and kind of see where we are. But if that's the case next week, yeah, sure, we'll go do our best, and if that's what we have to do, then that's the mentality we'll have.
Go to Holly.
Hi, Chase. Sorry, one more question for you. How much does a positive attitude about coming here help somebody like you? Because there's still some drivers that don't like this kind of racing, and I would assume this would be a spot where you, who seems to have a very positive attitude about it, would feel like this is a welcome spot for you to try and come and get a victory, as opposed to others that say, I just got to tolerate it and get through.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have a level of of just tolerating it. When you hit something really hard, multiple times, you don't enjoy that, and nobody does. At the same time, that's part of it, and I don't really know what you do about that. We're going really fast, and we're in an enclosed circuit, and there's walls on the outside and inside. So I mean, odds of you hitting something at some point, I'd say, are pretty good. So it's I just think you have to take it for what it is, and like I said, it's a toss up whether you make it through the race on Sunday. But somebody's going to make it through the event, and somebody's going to get a win, and somebody's going to get the points that come along with it, and you would certainly rather that be your team than watch somebody else. So I just think you have to always kind of keep that in mind, as much as you may not enjoy it. That's the reality of it.
Come on over here to Steve.
Steve Post, Motor Racing Network. Chase, stage points, we talk about it all year long. But when you look at your situation now, stage points in the spring race were nice to have, but not critical to have. How does that impact? How does that play off? Are stage points in April is important for you guys? How is that going to factor in Sunday afternoon for you guys?
Well, a stage win in April was important then, just as important then as it is now. You know, getting that point could be the difference in us making it or not. You know, so yes, I think they're all important. And you know, at the time you may not think so, but now, boy, I wish we'd won the first stage too. You know, we'd be 6 points back instead of 7. You know, so all those things add up, and definitely for us right now, you know, stage points are going to be critical. You know, the manufacturers all working together. There's obviously a lot of Chevrolets and numbers. A lot of power in numbers there for sure. That can also work against you. I could be at the back of the Chevrolet line and not get any points, and the top 10 Chevrolets be there and get points themselves. So it's a tough balance. I don't really know what you do about that. You know, you try to put yourself in the best position you can and be sharp and just try to minimize mistakes, and from there just kind of let it unfold as it is. And if we all make it to the end like we hope we can, we'll go race for the win and see where it goes. But definitely for us, stage points are crucial. You know, I don't think we're in a position where we have to win right now to make it through this round. I think we're really close. Don't get me wrong, I'd much rather win than be stressing about stage points, but I don't think we're to that point yet. If we could have a good day on Sunday, I think that would really, really help. So, yeah, who knows? We'll see.
We'll go all the way to the back.
Hi, Chase. CJ Wooliver with FoxSports.com. This week on Michael Waltrip's podcast, Bubba Pollard said that you are someone that he looks up to and that you're one of his heroes and that he doesn't even think everyone's seen the full level of your talent yet. What does it mean to you to have someone so respected in the short track scene to say that you're one of their heroes? I don't know. I feel like he's one of my heroes. Yeah, obviously very kind words for sure from a guy that I really have looked up to for a long time. And, I remember losing some really tough races to him and over the years. And Bubba and I race each other a lot. So I've, that means a lot coming from him for sure. And anytime I feel like somebody that you have raced against, a competitor of yours along the way, shows that kind of respect, it definitely means a lot to me. And I feel like the feeling's very mutual. I've always looked up to him. I've always enjoyed how he's gone about his business and his dad and his mom and his family and how they've gone about racing and how they've continued to support racing even through some things they don't agree with or good times, bad times. So people like him are crucial to that world. I would love to see him have a shot, and doing things maybe in the NASCAR world or whatever. But definitely cool to hear and enjoy my time racing with him. I would love to race with him some more in the short track world and just see how different it is. I feel like I had a conversation with him. It was actually over at the short track here this spring, and he was just telling me how different it was from when I came through, and how the racing has changed and how the dynamic is different. And as a racer, that really interests me. I love to see that at some point. So very, very kind. I appreciate it, and feelings very mutual. One of my heroes for sure.
Are there any final questions for Chase? All right, Chase. Thank
All right,
you.
thanks.
Good luck this weekend.
Yeah. We'll see.